Welcome back to A Toda Madre. It's your boy Rodless. And like always, being so consistent at being inconsistent. What am I talking about? I'm talking about my thoughts, my review on How to Train Your Dragon. This movie just came out last weekend. It's a remake, live action adaptation slash remake of the animated Dreams work, How to Train Your Dragon. Let me just touch on something real quick. Aside from Toy Story, aside from what other movie is a trilogy? Cars, Shrek, Minions, Despicable. No, Minions. Well, Despicable, and did I say Shrek already? I think those are the only animated movies that have trilogies. I would say How to Train Your Dragon, the series, is the best animated trilogy, and it's better as the movies go on, right? So like part one is good, part two is better, part three is probably the best, and that's what basically any series should do. When I heard there was gonna be a remake, I was like, "Ooh, what I want to see!" We literally touched on it, me and my brother. We said, "Do we want to see something new, or do we want to see the classic movie? Is there gonna be twitches and tweaks and all that?" Well, I saw it. And because I don't remember the original, as soon as this new movie came out, I went back and saw the original. And I loved it. I love the live action movie. There's some scenes that I'm like, wow. Something that I loved about the movie, right? Because I'm thinking about both movies. I'm thinking about both movies. What to say? This is something that I will say. This is something that I will say. When I'm watching the live action sequence, I know the movie. I've seen the movie. I might not remember the movie, but it feels very fresh. Very, even if they're retelling the story, it feels good. It doesn't feel like too much of a remake. It doesn't feel too much of a reboot. It's just like the perfect execution on how to retell the story while adding a little bit tidbits and tadbits. One thing that captured my eye right away after rewatching the movie, Hiccup does really seem like a more cowardish, more scaredy cat in the original movie. And this one, he's still there, but it's like it's a little tweak that he doesn't seem too much of a coward. He seems more for it. However, on a live action movie, obviously you're gonna see the emotions on the face, the expressions, and all that. So maybe that's why I feel that in the cartoon he looked too much of a coward, while this one they didn't. It could have been also the voice of Jay Baruchel versus this young kid. It can be that too, because we know how Jay Baruchel looks like as in live action, right? I don't understand why they couldn't bring him in for this live action. I don't understand why they couldn't bring Craig Ferguson. I didn't do my research, so I wouldn't know. Okay, so other than that, you're literally looking at the same movie, but it's gonna feel fresh. That's something that I love, that it feels fresh. Another thing, Toothless. On the cartoon, I feel like he's more expressive. I feel like he has more character. It feels like he's more of a best friend to Hiccup than a side pet to Hiccup. That's how I felt it. Maybe for you it was different, but that's how I felt it. And then there's one scene that I'll touch on it later because it's kind of a spoiler later, right? Other than that, when it comes to the live action, the acting, the chemistry, Gerard Butler, his expressions when he gets mad, when he's happy, when he's crying, when he's sad. I think that's something that the live action beats the original because you can see the emotion oozing out of the screen. And that's something that I loved because I was like, that's something new. The flying sequence with the dragon. I do wish we could have focused more like on a picture where you can see both as opposed just to the kid. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, we are there for your dragon, not for him, at least in my opinion. But the flying sequences were really, really good. And I was saying, I think the only movie that's going to beat it with flying sequence this year is going to be obviously Superman. But this one with the dragon, it could only get better. If there's a part two, I know they're going to add more. because it looked beautiful, looked real, and that's something that I was kind of scared of. That I'm like the dragons. I thought they were gonna look too cartoonish, but because the movie was pushing for that, it's a cartoon, but it's not. It worked for the movie. Yes, some dragons kind of look dumb and silly, but at the same time, it worked for the movie. It's like you kind of disconnect, and it's okay. Like Love and Monsters. When you see that movie, you kind of disconnect from the insects and all that, right? So it's the same thing for this, like because it's like an adventure movie. You know what you're going getting to, the expressions that the Toothless is giving you. You're like okay, and you kind of shot off, and it's okay. It's understandable. It's okay, and I loved it, man. I loved it. Now, spoilers, you can tune back in after like minute six and a half, 7 minutes, right? So I'm gonna talk about this for a minute, and then it's spoiler free. There's a sequence. There's a sequence in the movie which, in the original, I loved it. In the original, they show you there's a scene where Hiccup and Toothless are out in like in an island, and little dragons come out, and they're fighting for their food, and they basically one of them eats fire, his fire, and that's how Hiccup notices that they're very vulnerable to their own flame. So that's how they defeat the big dragon at the end of the movie. In this part of the movie, they don't show you that. They literally delete that sequence. So in a way, you start thinking, unless if I missed it, and I wasn't paying attention because I was oohing and eyeing. Unless if I missed it, they don't really touch on that they can be damaged by their own fire, and that's a big important factor. Other than that, the movie was still good. The movie was still good. As I was saying, that particular sequence of the movie needed to be in there. If you want to know what it is, skip forward a minute. When I'm looking at the whole movie by itself, I do think it's one of the best remakes out there, probably top five of all time. I need to go back to my remakes, right? But at the moment, just out of my head, I think that's the second best remake of all time that I've seen. Um, Maybe one day I'll give you a rating of remakes, but right now, that's the best retelling remake, number two in my books. But in Disney World, I think from live action adaptations, that's the best one. That's the best one, and I don't think no one's gonna beat it for a good long time. I can't wait for part two if they make it. I can't wait for part three. Can only get better. Add more stuff, and that's what they did. It's the same story, but tweaking a little bit to the story, adding a little bit to the story, and it makes it even better. And that's something that I love. And they tweaked it, they worked on it, and they made it better. I hope I hope it does the same with the following stories. I know because I know we're gonna get part two, but for sure gonna get part two. This movie was so good. If I hadn't watched, oh, you know what? I'm gonna give it a toda madre. A toda madre out of 10. A toda madre out of 10. Better than 10 out of 10. It's probably gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year. I had it in my on my most anticipated movies. It literally touched it right now from anticipated movies. I'm putting it at number one. We'll see at the end of the year where it lands. But anyways, people, did you see it? Did you watch it? What you think? Show Tell me on the comments below. Because for me, it was in a toda madre showing. So, anyways, people, do like, do comment, subscribe. You guys have a good night, a good morning, and a good evening.